I don't think anyone's actually asking this question, but I was just looking at a map of Japan and I noticed this large island north of the country that I'd never actually seen before. About one-fifth the size of Japan, it's evidently a part of Russia called Sakhalin, which the Soviets took at the end of World War II. But that made me wonder, since Russian possession of the Kuril Islands and the presence of US bases on Okinawa are subjects of controversy, why didn't anybody in Japan care when an island bigger than Sri Lanka was taken away from them? And the answer to that is not exactly clear. I mean, the island can't be that important since it wasn't mentioned once in history of Japan, but that's besides the point. Right, so Sakhalin was entirely claimed by Japan in the year 1807 and was used primarily for trading and fishing. It wasn't like one of the main islands of Japan, so it never garnered a population in the millions, but in the 19th century, Russia also claimed the island, so the two nations agreed that Russia would take the northern bit and Japan would take the southern bit. During this time, Russia set up a prison colony on Sakhalin which Anton Chekhov, the guy with the gun thing, visited in 1890. During the Russian Revolution, Japan would take the northern half of the island, but 5 years later they would give it back to the Soviet Union. The Soviets would also take the southern Japanese part of the island as a part of the spoils of World War II. Because Japan was sandwiched between two angry superpowers, there wasn't much negotiating they could invest towards keeping an island that wasn't even very geopolitically useful, so they agreed to let the Soviets keep it without much protesting. The population of some 400,000 Japanese were slowly repatriated into their homeland over the course of 4 years, while much of the ethnic Korean population chose to stay behind. So that's the reason why this island, that looks like it should be a part of Japan, isn't a part of Japan. Had there been a Japanese population on Sakhalin that was much more integrated with the culture of Japan itself, then they would have probably tried harder to keep the Russians from taking it. And the seemingly much smaller scale Kuril Island dispute is more important because Russia needs to take control of the islands for year-round access to the Pacific Ocean, while Japan wants the islands because they do.